What up, world? It's your boy Dirty D for those that know me. For those that follow me on IG, my handle is @𝔻ℕ𝕀𝕊𝕆𝕻𝔼. And welcome to episode 14 of Digging in the Crate podcast. Now today, we're gonna talk about a dude I didn't even know this dude existed, to be honest, until he dropped a shoe. This year, I didn't even know the shoe was coming out this year. I just so happened to get on Instagram and boom, it's some shit about ISRU boot camp or summer camp challenge. I download the app, sign up for the app, and you're supposed to do a list of challenges in order to try to buy the shoe. At this point, I'm pretty sure y'all all know what I'm talking about. So today we're going to talk about the infamous, notorious, world-renowned Mars Tom Sachs 3.0. And when I say this shoe is comfortable as fuck, it's comfortable as hell. Now, the origin story behind the Mars Yard. Tom Sachs, like I said, I never heard of this dude ever until he dropped the shoe. And it was limited as hell. And I think that's why, the word got out that it was limited and people wanted it. So anyway, Tom Sachs, New York City, Jewish guy. He's a artist. He's an architect. He's one of those artsy guys. He builds sculptures and stuff like that. Anyway, so he, builds a relationship with Nike and he's trying to do some type of collaborative thing. I don't want to get too much into his storyline. I really just want to talk about the shoe. But long story short, he's at a Nike event and they're talking about, how hard it is to design a shoe. And, because he's an artsy guy and he's, real hands-on and he builds sculptures and stuff like that. He's like, well, it can't really be that hard, right? So I guess one of the VPs, something like that, well, won't you try it? So they gave him an opportunity to do it. So, him at the time having, a contract with NASA, the NASA people like personally coming and talking to him and him being able to source a lot of the materials, he's decided to try to do that with his shoe. So the first Mars Yard, similar to like a Nike free run shoe, because it was around that era where, the Nike free run material, that foam was actually real durable and people was using that to train. So that's what he molded and based the original Mars Yard 1 off of. And he added some materials that NASA would use for like the spacesuits and he put those materials onto the shoe. I can't remember the exact name of the materials. I just know that they said it is stronger than steel, but if you bend it 100 times, it breaks like a pencil. So that was one of the errors with the shoe, as well as the outsole wearing down. So like they had to try to resource that. So the shoe came out. I can't remember how many pairs that was made. It wasn't an instant sale out. So then he just started giving them away because they wasn't really selling like that because nobody knew who the hell he was. And then once people started seeing that it was a cult following behind it, and at that price point started going up, people started assaulting after him more. So then, the legend of Tom Sachs was born. So, of course, what that means. We got to go to work on the 2.0, or rather, he goes to work on the 2.0. So the 2.0, he changed the materials. Similar to the 3.0, he puts mesh material on there and retools a couple of things to try to make it look more durable. Rumor has it that, a lot of people was wearing through on the shoe. So, like the top of the shoe, like I said, which was made of that material that you bend 100 times, it breaks like a pencil. The toes were showing, and then like the toe caps also was going through. So I guess he tried to tweak that on the 2.0. He changed the materials. He put mesh on there. He kept a stitch swoosh on there, and just a different couple of things that he tweaked on there. Made the sole a little bit different. Put some pressure points, or where what you'll do most traction on your walking as far as the outsole. And again, the error with those was a lot of people walked through those, like the soles were worn down to the point where they had to basically either put a new sole on it or they had to do something else with it, or basically just stop wearing it. And again, like I said, with the material, since it's mesh, people wore through it, the toes are showing. So like he has a YouTube video up showing you like certain things that people did. Like they actually took the mesh, they restitched it, they put different patches and all type of stuff in it so they can continue to wear the shoe. Which leads to the Mars Yard 2.5. This shoe was not available for purchase. This was actually a trial run shoe similar to the RSIU challenges that happened earlier this year. where if you interview for it, you sent in a bunch of information, they would mail you out the shoe, and then you would wear this shoe, do tests in it, skate in it, hoop in it, do whatever the challenges was for you to do in it. And then once that time frame was up, you are to put the shoes back in the box and mail them back to Nike headquarters. From the video, he said that the majority of people returned the shoes, but I'm pretty sure some people held on to them damn things, which probably disqualified them from actually entering the challenges to try to get the 3.0, which leads to us talking about the 𝔻ℎ𝕀𝕊𝕆𝔻𝔼 3.0, which we are about to get into. Now, there was another shoe called the 𝔻ℎ𝕧 boot. I actually held that pair in hand. It was actually a 𝔻ℎ𝕧, but it had like a space boot, NASA space boot type of stuff on. A lot of people actually took that, cut the materials off to expose the actual 𝔻ℎ𝕧. The color of the outsole on that was like a baby bluish color, and that shoe retailed for like 500 or something like that, and then I think it was reselling for like 600. So people, or 700 or 800. So it retailed for 500. People was reselling it for $800, making that profit. So not too many people actually had the shoe, but the people who actually did have the shoe, they actually just cut off that excess layers and to expose a 𝔻ℎ𝕧 that was underneath. And again, like I said, it was a baby blue outsole on it, so you can tell the difference between that versus the 𝔻ℎ𝕧, which leads us to me and the 𝔻ℎ𝕧 3.0. So I signed up for the Nike RSRU challenges. Like I said, I didn't even know the shoe was even coming out this year. So, not even thinking I was going to win any of the challenges, I'm just trying to stay in shape. I'm just trying to, stay active for the summer. So I'm doing the challenges, faithfully. Each week is a new challenge. Each week is a new video that you got to watch, and you answer questions at the end. And like I said, you got to be dedicated. And he even said it in the video, if you want the 𝔻ℎ𝕧, you're going to have to work for it. And he made us work for it. I'm going to be honest. He made us work for it. Let's get into the details of it. So he said, I've never owned any 𝔻ℎ𝕧 other than the one that I saw in hand, which was the 𝔻ℎ𝕧 boot. Outside of that, I can't tell you anything as far as like from pictures that I could just, describe. So on this one, he says on the 3.0, it looks the same, but nothing about the shoe is the same. It's very comfortable. There's React X foam in here as they transition out of the Nike free run, technology. And I kind of wish they would have used Zoom X foam, but I'm just the guy talking about the shoe, so we're gonna just get into that. It's actually very comfortable, and I'm not a huge fan of React X foam, so that's what you see in here. That outsole on this shoe, like I said, the previous pairs, the outsole's worn down, so he took the 𝔻ℎ𝕧 boot outsole and put it on here. And it's very comfortable, man. Like I said, I've only worn this like maybe a handful of times, and I gotta say that it's a real comfortable shoe. He definitely put some details in this. You can tell like from the first two pairs that that ran through, that he paid attention to the details. So you get this really cool suede material. You got mesh material here. They changed the toe cap a little bit. You used to get this beautiful suede material right along this little panel here, but all of it is just mesh now, I guess, for breathability. The eyelids on this one is bigger because I guess a lot of people complain about the eyelids snapping or like the laces actually breaking. You get the pull tab here is a whole lot different because I did remember people saying when they went to put the shoe on that the actual pull tabs would snap off, which made it difficult to put on the shoe. You get leather on the inside of the sock liner here. It's mesh on the side here. Gone is the stitch swoosh, and they put a silk screen swoosh on here. And you get the same pull tab in the back. You get some shanks here, and then the bottom outsole, you now have a carbon fiber plate. I only know carbon fiber plates for being on Jordans and maybe a few running shoes. But the first shoe I remember even having a carbon fiber plate was a Jordan. So you get a carbon fiber plank shank here at the bottom, I guess for more durability and just to keep it premium. And again, like I said, that toe cap wore through, so you get whatever that piece was that he put on the 2.5, the trial shoe, he put that on the toe cap here. The original 2.5 had this material all along the front of the toe cap or the whole entire shoe. So I guess he figured out how to tweak that and just make it, it looks sleek. It looks pretty cool. A lot of people said that this is one of the main details that they like about the 𝔻ℎ𝕧 3.0. And it's a real comfortable shoe. Like I said, I'm glad I was able to. And like I said, I bust my ass, man. Like, and I wasn't even really trying to do it like that. I was in that top 10%, you know, and I started like 2 days late. So I wasn't expecting to even wake up to an invoice of this at all. So like, you know, once, you know, the summer camp ended, they was like, check your app for the invoices. I checked my app and boom, the Marjar was there, $275. But it was there. He gave people like maybe 2 weeks to like purchase this. Some people complained about their pairs not being shipped right away. I ordered mine as soon as I saw that they were available, and mine took about a week, and then they shipped out. But I actually got mine in a pretty decent time frame versus what I've been seeing and reading from people online. You did have to have a signature, so thank God I was home when they dropped this off, because you had to be home to actually get a signature. He does give you a receipt that says final, all sales are final. Like a motherfucker's gonna return this, right? But anyway, as far as the box, this is the part that I like the most. You get a message on the box telling you this shoe is to be worn to death, which is fucking hilarious to me. You get his signature, Nike Craft branding out. The previous Nike Craft boxes they said were real flimsy. This is supposed to be more durable. I mean, it's cheaper, but it's supposed to be more durable because, you know, like I said, he's an artsy guy, so he put like Velcro and stuff like that on the first two boxes. Now he just keeps it just regular Nike Craft. And then you get the Marjar 3.0 stamp on here. You get a message on the inside too. So Sachs said that he created the Marjar. So like basketball shoes are made for basketball players. Running shoes are made for runners. This shoe is supposed to be made for the creator. So if you're an artsy person, this shoe is for you. That's basically what it was. But, you know, with the cult following that it has, not a lot of people who are artsy are going to be able to obtain this, because he said it in the interview on the YouTube that if you want the shoe, you got to earn it. And man, like I said, he put us through a lot of shit to get this shoe. So, I mean, it wasn't nothing crazy. Like, you didn't have to sell your soul or no shit like that. But no, you definitely had to like stay dedicated. You had to be disciplined and dedicated. And it's like, you know, I try to stay in shape. I try to work out. So I just added like all of the challenges to my regimen. And, you know, it just like tend to pan out for me. So, because one of my homies, I had talked to him, you know, he was like, man, it just seemed like a lot of work for a shoe. But it's like, if you're an active person, it wouldn't matter anyway. All right. So y'all know what y'all here for. So let's go ahead and dig in the crate. So we're going to keep it true to Sachs. I ain't going to get into all the extra details because all the details happen around this shoe. So we're going to talk about the boring, that's what he called it, the boring general purpose shoe. So Sachs, like I said, he made this shoe for the creators. This shoe is supposed to be the boring shoe, your everyday wear shoe. This colorway, which is called the Studio colorway, released only on his website because, you know, he calls his website the Studio. And that's why I said, like, I don't want to get into all the accusations, because at his studio, Nike almost dropped him because a whole bunch of shit that just went out there and all that stuff like that. But anyway, so this is supposed to be the boring shoe. It's supposed to be a general purpose shoe. It's supposed to be a shoe that you can wear for everyday wear. And it's comfortable. You get the original, as you can hear it, the actual waffle, you know, that Nike used, the waffle outsole. You get a gum midsole here. Some of the details you can see, which is actually he added to the Marjar 3.0. You get a different pull tab that actually more durable. You get a pull tab in the back here. Bigger lace locks. It's pretty similar to the Marjar, but not really, because like I said, he wanted this to be like just a regular everyday shoe to wear. Very thin sock liner. It's still comfortable, and these are very comfortable to wear. I tried my best to try to keep this color clean, but this material, whatever the hell this is, I can't really describe it. It cracks after so many wears. And like I said, I only wore this a handful of times. And like I said, this shoe came out 2022. So the color is starting to, you know, change colors and stuff like that. But outside of that, the materials on here was pretty cool. Everything about this shoe was, you know, general, like definitely a boring shoe if you want to call it that. But, you know, a lot of people definitely, you know, gravitated toward this, and a lot of people wanted to own it. The boxes are kind of similar. So you get the Nike, you know, his signature Nike Craft box on here. You get the general purpose branding, and you get another message that says, own less, do more. And then, of course, that same exact Marjar, you know, Marjard, you know, almost like, you know, this shoe is manufactured for the creators, like how Jordan used to say this shoe is manufactured for the top tier athletes. Tom Sachs, you know, has definitely got a cult following now. A lot of people definitely wanted this shoe. For those who actually lost, he did let you get a pre-order in the app. I couldn't get it because I actually won the holy grail that everybody was looking for. So he did a RSRU, general purpose shoe with the RSRU brandings on it. And for those who did not win, were able to pre-order this shoe that releases, where it will ship to them in the summer of 2026. It kind of sucks because it's like, you know, you did the RSIU challenges. You kind of want a shoe that represents the RSIU movement. But, you know, I got what everybody wanted, which was this. So it was just like, maybe somebody who don't want this, I can find it. Or maybe they won't sell for much. Like, these were going for crazy prices at first, like $200-$300. Now they kind of like around like $200. So it's kind of, you know, kind of obtainable. But, you know, like I said, I like both. The general purpose shoe is also cool. It's kind of similar to the studio colorway. So, you know, for those who felt like they missed out, you at least got something. You know what I'm saying? Got the pre-order, the general purpose shoe. I'm pretty sure it's going to come in a pretty cool, well, it's probably going to come in the same box like this one. I ain't going to even hold you. You probably get some extra little perks and stuff like that. But, yeah, you didn't get too much with this. You do get a cork insoles. Very comfortable. You get another set. It's just like a regular insole, but the cork insole is usually what the Marjard is known for. So, you know, I'm gonna keep them in there, and you know, if I need to rotate them out, I will. But I pretty much probably, because I'm not doing what the box say. The box say these to be worn to death. I'm not doing that shit. It's not happening. All right. I want to thank y'all for tuning in to Digging in the Crate podcast. Please like, share, subscribe on YouTube. It's your boy, Dirty D, Rumple Smooth Skin. I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.